Good afternoon, everybody. What I want to say will not sit well with everybody, and that's fine because we'll not always be on the same page. Lately, many people have been bullying, quote unquote, bullying people that are not married or divorced or separated. You know, when they talk about marriage, they feel like they're not qualified to talk about marriage. And my question is, if you do not want people who are divorced, separated, or single to talk about marriage, you that has been married for a long time and maybe you're having a seamless or relationship, a blissful relationship with your spouse, why can't you come out and share your own experiences? If you don't want people to say the things that are wrong, come and teach people the things that are right. Marriage is not a secret cult society. It's a sacred institution, but it's not a secret cult society where you don't share. Nobody's signed an oath of secrecy. And who told you people that being married is what qualifies you to talk about marriage? There are single, divorced, and separated marriage counselors who are successful in their career and are helping families. So if you don't want to talk about marriage with other people and you are married, allow people that can come and share what their thoughts are, come and share. If you think that they are wrong, you can correct them constructively instead of trying to hush people, because hey, guess what, we all have the right to talk about relationship. After all, we are all product of relationships. Do you understand? Whether it was a sad one, a happy one, a long-term or a short-term relationship, however all of us came to this world, we came as a result of a man's sperm and a woman's egg. So we all have the right to talk about relationships. Do you understand? I understand when you say, okay, you don't know what you're saying. Okay, let them find out when they get married that they were tripping. Stop bullying people. It makes no sense. If you know the right thing and you don't want to say, it's just like when we say, if you don't teach your kids, people outside will go and teach them the wrong thing maybe. So if you don't want people to teach people the wrong thing, you get up and share the right thing with people, or people will do it. How many times do people go to the DMs to say, hide my identity, my boss or my colleague at work is giving me headache? But how many times people say, oh, my spouse is giving me headache? How many times people say, society will laugh at me if I leave a marriage, and they continue to stay in sad situations without expressing themselves to get help? But if it is work or something else, it's easier to share. But when it has to do with an intimate relationships, we just make it look like, oh, marriage is a weight that you have to carry. And guess what, especially if you're a woman, if you let that weight down, you have failed as a woman. So whatever you see inside that marriage, just take it like that. Oh, marriage is like a gift. Whatever you open and see in, you take it like that. But can we tell people how they can manage what they have seen inside the marriage? If we are not open about these things, the experiences, tell people the raw truth as much as you are comfortable to share. I'm not asking you to come here and badmouth anybody or something like that, but as much as you can share in the language that people will understand without bashing people. You go married into a dramatic family. Who have you been able to tell that, oh, this is how I was able to navigate through? You don't come home after work, you rather go hang out with the boys or go for a drink or just avoid your wife. Can you, which young man have you told, oh, this is how you can avoid this kind of drama in your home? This I can avoid marrying this kind of person, I will not give you this kind of peace. Because everybody has problems in their marriages. It's just that people have more problems than others. It's just like in school, we had good students, average students, and bad and poor students, academically poor students. That's how we have excellent marriages, average marriages, and then we have poor marriages. So instead of hushing people, can you now teach people the right thing? Because if we do not open up, our children will make the same mistake, plus the ones that they will already make on their own. But if you're able to just not necessarily to force them into situations, but to just guide and advise, open up a bit. I'm not asking you to go and tell your son how bad your wife or was, or how bad your husband was. but whatever how whatever you can share to help their own experience. Because if I raise a good son and I raise a good daughter, if we prepare our children, both men and women, for marriage, you and I will sit down after they get married and be drinking glasses of wine, because we know that we delivered good people, people who will treat their wives and husbands as humans. But if you're going to just keep hushing everything, no, keep quiet, don't share, don't talk like this. People are dying. Family and marriage are really important, because if you are having problems in your marriage, or you have a problem in the family, it's difficult for you to go and concentrate in work or whatever other thing. Because guess what? Bitterness and anger are detrimental to our health. Do you understand? The state of your mind contributes to how fast you will respond to medication. So people are dying early. People are hoarding things. People are just dying, and people are not able to express themselves. And I mean, even if you cannot talk to family, you can find someone, and I don't even like the family talking to family, but you can find someone who can give you another, maybe look at your situation from another perspective. Every day we are saying, hide my identity, my husband, my this, and how long is not how well. Because people read things like, people send things to relationship therapists saying, oh, we married 17 years, or everything got bad when we had our first child in the first 3 years of marriage. So you see that for over 10 years, about 14 years, someone has been suffering and smiling. And we keep saying, hush, hush, if you've not celebrated your 25th anniversary, you've not been married for this long, you have no right to talk about marriage. If you left marriage, you have no right to talk about. Why? We all have the right to talk about marriage. You know the right thing to do. When people say, I read something one time, they said, if your husband keeps clothes on the floor, carry them and throw them away. He doesn't need them anymore. You know, is that the right thing to do? It's not, right? But people will talk. You that knows the right thing, tell someone the right thing to do. You need to pick them up and wash, whether by washing machine or give them to a dry cleaner, or keeping them where they should be kept without complaining. Or should you throw tantrums? You know what the right thing to. So when people say this thing, instead of just coming to hush them or to bash them and shaming them about how they were not able to keep their homes, can you just do the right thing without destroying another person's soul? It's really sad. It's really, really sad. Let's be more open. Let us be more open. Let's be real about these things. Let's really just get real about these things. There's no point in faking it. Do we not see how people fake it and tell us everything is going on well, and by the time the relationship is bad, we now hear the main thing, the real truth that was happening? Nobody is perfect. Nobody is married to a perfect person. No human on earth is perfect. We are all facing different problems in our marriages, in our relationships, in our families, in our businesses. But emotional problems are really, 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 really tricky, because it just renders you, I don't know, just makes you feel really terrible. If you have problems at work or in business and you have someone to go back home to comfort you, it's really good. But if you have problems at home, no matter the comfort you get outside, you always come back home and face that problem. Do you understand? Because it's easier when you're working and you've given 8 years, 10 years of your life to maybe a company. It's easier for you to leave, I guess. But when you have, because you invested maybe your time, your talent, your skills. But in relationship, in marriage, you have invested yourself, your emotions. Someone said somewhere that if you find, I heard a psychologist say that if you go to a psychiatric home and see 10 women there, 8 out of those women are there as a result of broken relationships. So please, if you know the right thing to say, better come and help people. People are dying every day. People are dying in silence. So if you're having a seamless, marriage is so sweet, it's so nice, instead of it to come and say, don't let them lie to you, marriage is sweet. Yeah, marriage, how have you been able to make your own sweet? Was it without commitment and compromise and sacrifice? Did you just sit down and it was sweet like that? Did you have to tolerate, to forgive, to choose to love every day? Or your spouse is just the best, he or she has never offended you? Please, let's do better. Thank you.